Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, fun fact about me, ever since my senior year of high school, I have had a notes folder in my phone entitled Quotes That Have Absolutely Changed My Life. And since I started it over a year ago, every single time I hear a quote where I'm like, ooh, that's really good, like I really like that one, I put it in there. So it's gotten pretty long now. I hear a lot of good quotes apparently, must be around a lot of wise people. Needless to say, a lot of those quotes have played a very vital role in helping me get through my first year with my sanity still intact. So I figured today's episode should be my top 5 quotes that have gotten me through my first year abroad. Yeah, I like that. Okay, well, let's get chatting. Okay, so I feel like I should premise the episode with the fact that I actually have no idea who has said any of these quotes. Fatal flaw of my own, I will write down the quotes, but I will never write down who says them. So, apologies. Okay, so quote number 1, nothing in nature blooms all year. I love this quote. I love the metaphor behind it. I just feel like it really, for me personally, puts a lot of things into perspective. I'm just gonna kind of like explain how this has really proven effective for me in St. Andrews. Obviously, every single season of your life is not going to be a season of abundance. You have to go through seasons of your life that are not as fun. You have to do the hard work. You have to go through seasons of drought. You have to go through trials. You have to experience the hardships in order to understand success and truly reap success and enjoy success. Specifically for me, I feel like I really got caught up in the fact that I felt like my life should be perfect 100% of the time. And specifically in St. Andrews, there's very much that pressure to feel like you're living the coolest, most amazing life 24/7, going to all of these insane fun events and parties and traveling all the time and doing all this fun stuff. I feel like some people are really going to understand what I'm talking about. I'm like laughing as I'm saying this. I feel like in St. Andrews, there's like a hidden competition to have like the coolest, most perfectly aesthetic, curated Instagram, but also be super nonchalant about it. And it's like everyone like looks like they're living their most amazing, best lives, which I'm sure they are living some pretty amazing lives, but I'm also like, it's such an insanely weird vibe competition. Do I feed into it? Yeah, like obviously I do. Sorry, not to be that person, but yes, I do compete in this secret competition. But yeah, it's so weird. It's like everyone is trying to be like some secret nonchalant Instagram baddie. But because of that, I feel like the expectation to live the most amazing life 24/7 is amplified so much. I needed to remind myself constantly that like it's okay that maybe you're having a bad day. It's okay that maybe this week was harder and that you're missing home and that you're not doing anything insanely fun. You know, like nothing in nature blooms all year. It is biologically not in your nature to constantly be reaping a reward. It's kind of like a tongue twister. Reaping a reward. Yeah, it's not in your biological nature to constantly be reaping a reward. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that, but you get my point. Okay, so quote number 2, your fears are not a prediction of the future. For those of you who know me in person, IRL, and are really close to me, you know that I struggle with anxiety pretty badly. It really started to pick up for me senior year of high school, like during the college application process. But for some reason, second semester this was literally like 4 months ago. But for some reason, second semester was really bad anxiety-wise. Like, it had gotten to the point where I could not function about my day per Emily Grace usual. I kind of like to describe it as like, it was almost like paralyzing. Like, I was just so anxious that I couldn't do anything, which kind of then turned into a cycle of like, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff to do, but I'm so anxious that I can't do any of it. But then it's like, it's getting worse because like I'm not doing anything, and it just like perpetuated. So like reminding myself that my fear is not what's gonna happen, was crucial to getting by. And also, first year, there's just so many things that you can't control. You're meeting so many new people. You're in such different social situations. You're trying to figure out how to do uni, like school-wise, like content-wise. You're trying to figure out all this coursework, and you can't really control a lot about what's going on in your life. So just like reminding yourself that like, yeah, like I have these fears, but that's not what's gonna happen. Reminding yourself to imagine the best case scenario, not the worst case. Dare I say that might be the number one quote, but I digress. Let's move on. Okay, guys, quote number 3. There's a lot of explanation that needs to go on with this quote. I can actually told you who told me this quote. It was my amazing, gorgeously beautiful mother. For a little premise, old Grace, fresh in high school, a lot of the times my happiness was very much determined by the boy that was in my life. And that was pretty much a recurring theme throughout all of high school, which is no fun at all. Like, ew, like, why was I like that? I don't know. But whatever, it was a lesson we had to learn, and we learned it, and we've moved past it, and we've become a better person. Point being, one day I was just super upset. There was this guy that I really, really liked, and it just didn't work out, to put it very vaguely. And I remember I was just like so upset. I was like genuinely thought my life was ending. Not really, but I was like, whatever. I was just super sad. And my mom was like, okay, Grace, like, we're going to brunch. Like, we'll go to brunch. It'll be fine. I'll cheer you up. Perfect, right? So we're at brunch, and she looks at me and she goes, but what's gonna make Grace happy that's not a boy? First of all, bars. That's everything I needed to hear in life and more. So quote 3 is, what's gonna make Emily Grace happy that's not a boy? Honestly, I still think about that quote all the time. Throughout all of my freshman year of college, uni, I wrote it on a piece of paper. All of my friends can attest to this. I wrote, what is going to make Emily Grace happy that's not a boy? And I put it right next to my bed. So every morning when I woke up, I saw it. When my mom first told me the quote, I really needed to like reassess my priorities and like how amazing my life truly is, and all of these joys and all of this happiness around me that I need to embrace and need to appreciate and need to let fulfill me. At the beginning, it really was shifting my mindset from like no longer finding my worth in the relationship I was in, but finding it, well, really ultimately for me, it was finding it like through the Lord, but also finding other things in my life that fulfilled me. So like songwriting was a really big one, playing more golf. You know me and my love for golf. It always just ignites a fire in my soul, dare I say. And then also like the little things, finding joy in simply having a slow morning, or like a nice sunset walk with my family and the dogs, a coffee date with a friend, just the little things, and finding joy in that and letting that make me happy and letting that fulfill me. Game changer. But I would say specifically through first year, it was less about having to shift my mindset of like, I need a boyfriend, to like, it wasn't so much that, like, I wasn't really focused on that. It was more having that quote nearby really reminded me of why I started applying that quote to my life throughout all of first year. Like when I would get really negative and when I would be like, oh, like what is going on? Like what is life? I'd remind myself, find joy in the little things. And that just proved to be everything and more. I think it's such a skill and it's such a gift to be able to find joy in the moment you're in. I don't know, I think there's a lot of power in that, and I'm really happy that that's what carried me through my first year, because I think it let me appreciate a lot of things that I wouldn't have appreciated if I didn't have that mindset. Okay, quote number 4. I don't understand why they would do that. What a blessing it is not to. So I'm not one to like air my dirty laundry out online, because I'm just simply not going to do that. So I'm going to try to say this as vaguely as possible. There were several times this past year where people behaved in a rather unkind way towards me. Yeah, I feel like that's a really diplomatic way of saying it. Anyway, so after some of these events occurred, some of these actions were taken, the only reaction I had was I just sat there in disbelief, and I was like, I don't really know what compelled them to do that. And then, I would think about it for a long time, and I would kind of spiral over it, because I was like, is it something I did? Like, I don't really know why they would do that. And I really thought about it. Like, it really took up a lot of my brain space. And then one day on Pinterest, I was scrolling. Per usual, I'm such a Pinterest warrior. Go follow me if you want. Shameless self plug. Anyway, I was scrolling on Pinterest and I saw this quote. I don't understand why they would do that. Yes, but what a blessing it is not to. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's everything I needed to hear. Because yeah, they behaved in that way and I'll never understand why they did it. But that's amazing that I'll never understand why they did it because I would never do that to a person. And that was all the consolation I needed. Throughout first year, relatively, it can get pretty messy in social situations. So just reminding yourself that, like, you know what? People are going to act in ways that you'll never understand, and maybe that's a good thing. I'm going to end it there. So, quote number 4.5, I felt like this one just really built off quote number 4 really well, so I wanted to include it as a little bonus quote. People give you what they are, not what you deserve. In the whole lieu of, I don't understand why they're doing this, part of the time when people treat you in ways that aren't really kind, it's not because of anything you did or anything you could have done differently. Everyone's fighting their own inner demons. Everyone's fighting their own battles. You'll never be able to see how deeply someone is hurting, but a lot of the times, unfortunately, that hurt will bleed onto you. Just remembering that, like, it's not because of you that someone treated you in the way they treated you. It's because that's physically all they could do. I don't know. It's just like, if you reframe it that way, it just really protects your heart and your peace and your mindset, because you're like, okay, well, I did all I could. I was genuinely like a kind person. I did my best. I tried my hardest and they treated me like that. I'm sorry for them. Like, they must be going through a lot. And kind of just like wrapping it up at that. It's nice because it saves you so much energy. I don't know, first year you have so much going on. You want to enjoy every moment. Don't give people the time of day where you're like, why would they move like that? Just don't even try to understand it. Just be like, they're hurting. Their hurt bled onto me. I would never do that to someone. And move on. My life advice, honestly. But yeah, okay. Last quote, quote number 5. I love this quote. I felt like it really needed to be included. Do it from love, not for love. It's one of my favorite quotes ever. My senior year yearbook quote was actually 1 Corinthians 16:14, do everything in love. I feel like it's a really good mindset to have because it's so much more fulfilling and it doesn't waste your energy. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do all of this because I have so much love overflowing from my heart, and if you don't want to reciprocate it, fine by me. That's okay. And like, let me tell you guys, you save so much energy and you can just put so much of that energy into other things in your life that fulfill you when you're not actively seeking the approval of others. Okay, guys. Well, those are my top 5 quotes that got me through my first year abroad. Thank you all so much for listening. And as always, let's chat soon. Bye.